This is Abe, Barry, and Jack's Haters Guide to Survivor penultimate episode. We are going to review the betting odds for each survivor to win the season currently, and the placements be for each player. Then we're going to compare some survivor winners to Super Bowl winners, just to see like what that will leave our impression of each player being after the season. So I'm going to turn this over to Jack. Jack, how are you doing today?
I'm good, Abe. What's up with you? How are you?
I'm doing well. Barry, how are you?
What's good? Excited to get this rolling. Let's get it.
Okay, so I'm excited for this. So Jack, we're gonna do some odds right now.
All right. So I wanted to ask you boys, based off of the last episode, who would you think? Don't answer. Just think for a little bit. Think about who you think would be the odds-on favorite to win the season of Survivor, based on this is all
top
updated
five, top
information. Yeah. Think about it really quick, and I'm gonna explain. I want both you boys to think top 5 favored to win based off of the last episode. Both of these odds provided are updated as of last episode, and they include both players in the game and Edge of Extinction.
Barry, you want the first or second guess?
I'll go first.
Before you do, Barry, these odds are provided by covers.com and oddshark.com.
Are we sponsored?
Not yet, Barry. Dude. You
Not
go to Vibes. You go to Vibes soon. These odds are provided by those two websites. And let's hear your top 5. Who you guys think Edge of Extinction and
is this like
game
Vegas
to win
odds?
The game. This is Vegas odds.
Vegas odds.
You could bet this.
You could bet this.
Got you.
Just go to Jersey. And you can bet this.
Barry, throw out your top 5.
I would like to say, at 1, I'd like to say Tony.
Okay. I'm not going to give the answers away until both of you guys.
Right. Just because it's like, he gets there, if he gets to top 3, I just think it's.
I mean, one is
he'll win.
That's why I gave this to Barry.
Should we go one by one? Let's switch. So now I'll set my 2.
I think what we should do is you guys guess your top 5, and then I'll say who the top 5 is.
Okay.
Just spit out your top 5, and then we can go over it and what we think of each player. Barry, spit out your top 5 first.
And
you
these
don't
are
have
both,
to do it in
right?
any order if you want. What'd you say, Abe?
All right, so I'll
these
say
are
order.
both, right?
So top 5.
Edge of
I'll
Extinction
go.
players in the game.
All right, top 5. I'll have to go. 1, I'll say Tony. 2, I'll have to go with Sarah, just because I don't know. It's hard to think that both of them will.
Valid guess.
Okay. I want to put Michelle somewhere there. I'd like to go Jeremy.
Jeremy 3.
Michelle
4.
And Michelle. And then I want to say Natalie. Yeah.
Interesting. All right. Yeah, I like that top 5.
Hard.
Abe?
I'm going to say something similar where I got Tony, Michelle, Sarah. I'm going to throw Tyson
Michelle at 2?
You said Michelle at 2?
I'm going to say Michelle 2.
Okay. Barry, wait, hold on. Before we go any further, Barry, what do you think about Michelle being at number 2?
Listen, we had a conversation about it a couple weeks ago, like 2 weeks ago. I was not a big fan of Michelle, but I've started to like her a lot. I liked her a lot. We'll get into it more, but I think she's loyal. I think she's great.
This is me predicting odds. It's not necessarily like who I think is the better player, but I think especially the current situation of the game, I would say Sarah's going to go home at some point. I think Michelle 2, Sarah 3, Tyson 4, Natalie 5.
Okay. So first, there's two websites, and number 1 and 2 are actually the same on both websites.
Okay.
And I have to give major props to Abe. Fucking nailed the top 2.
No way. What?
I was shocked myself. Michelle is number 2.
Michelle is number 2. It makes sense.
Is there like inside info that they can know? Is there inside info that they might know? Is that like a thing possible?
I don't know. It's very possible you can bet these odds.
I mean, let's just
I don't know.
Let me rephrase the question. You have $100 to bet right now on who will make the final 3 of Survivor Winners at War. Who is your pick? Not who wins, who makes it to the final 3.
I understand your point. Let me round out the top 5.
Michelle should be there.
Let me round out the top 5. I understand your point, and I want to get more into it. Oddshark top 5 is Tony, Michelle. Natalie was at 3.
Okay.
Barry, you were all over that. Sarah was 4, which I thought was a bit low. And then Sophie's at 5. Jeremy not making the top 5, I thought was interesting. Okay.
I think that makes sense, more or less.
Yeah. Really? I don't really want to get into that. Yeah, Sophie was 5, which I thought was interesting.
Still being edited strongly on the edge of extinction.
Well, let me just say the top 5 on the other site.
Mm-hmm.
The other site was Tony 1. This is covers.com. Tony 1. Michelle 2. Sarah was 3. Nick was 4, which I thought was interesting. And Denise was at 5. So they had no edge of extinction people and no Jeremy. Which I thought was
I can see Denise.
I mean, I think anybody betting.
So first, I think we should talk about Tony. Tony's number 1 on both sides. What do you guys think about Tony?
Abe, start off.
He's the powerhouse right now. You can't deny what he's doing right now. It's amazing. He's throwing targets everywhere. You know,
and he's so lovable too. He's awesome. He goes and hides, and I just love that.
Nobody in Survivor history has been able to fly so close to the sun and yet never be burned by it. Tony is the character.
He was burned in Game Changers pretty badly,
but that was obviously, I think, an outlier. I think Tony needed an ass whooping before coming back, if that makes sense. Because if Tony, no matter what season Tony came back in after Cagayan, he was going to be taken out immediately.
That's true. My thoughts on him are obvious. I think we all agree if he gets to the end, he'll win. I think it's all about him making it to the end. He has friends in the jury. He has big moves. He's playing an amazing game. Found idols, won immunities. He really has done he's done everything. And I think within the game, I think he has a solid chance to get to the end because he has an idol. And he's aligned with most of the players left in the game right now.
Okay. It makes sense.
It's awesome.
That's the one person I think everybody's pointing at right now. Although 2 weeks ago, Sophie was that person. So now
that is very true.
That is true. I'm hesitant. Survivor is doing an editing kind of like Edge of Extinction, where we saw all these people be like, War Dog's gonna win, Kelly's gonna win, Devins is gonna win, and then it's Chris Underwood. But
yeah, totally out of nowhere. But just think about it with Tony. I would say it's a little bit different because Sophie had people who were going after her. Tony had Kim going after him, and now she's out. Think about it. He's aligned with Jeremy. He has an alliance. That was a brilliant move. Yeah, he's aligned with Ben. He's aligned with Sarah. He's aligned with 60%
Nick.
Of
the time.
Right. The question for Tony will be, is Kim going home the right move for him? Because, once again, there are 3 eliminated.
For sure. We saw that she wanted him out.
I think it is she wanted also him out. A great move. Yeah, I agree.
And he didn't let Ben get in the way.
Here's what I will say, something important to remember. We have 2 vote-offs this episode, then 2 vote-offs next episode, excluding the fire-making and challenge portion of the final 4.
Uh-huh.
So there are only 4 people left you could get out in this game. I think just looking at the game, you have to take out Jeremy, Tony.
Really?
Sarah.
Why do you take out Jeremy? What has he really done? What has he really even done?
Firefighter.
Has he won an immunity?
Immunity challenges are never held to that standard anymore.
Has he made any big moves?
I think Jeremy just surviving is a big move for him. Think about it.
That's bullshit, dude. Come on.
Some people.
If he's right people. Abe, it's season 40. I understand what you're saying. He has 4 children and they want to give him the money. Right. But I think a lot of these people want the season 40 winner to be considered the greatest of all time. And I don't think they just give it to someone who kind of just made the end. I wouldn't say he coasted. He definitely had to make moves to get there, but no big moves. He really doesn't have a resume.
Right. But coming in with the reputation he did, I think everybody was aware. Most people coming into the season predicted Jeremy as the winner. I think that Jeremy has a big persona when he casts a big shadow over the rest of the cast is what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Because Jeremy has had a rough time because of the reputation he came in with, and it's slowly catching up to him. And because he has to play with that, it's so much of a bigger move for him to make the final 3 than to make any move along the line, if that makes sense.
Yeah, but if it's him I understand what you're saying. Sarah, it's going to be a good matchup.
Right.
That's neck and neck.
But I don't think there's going to be a scenario where Jeremy, Kim, Sarah, where any of the 3 of them will end up in the final 3 together. There is no way any of.
Yeah, I agree.
There's no way. There's no way.
To me, it looks like the season's going to Tony or whoever takes him out. That's what it looks like to me.
It seems like it. I mean, I feel like the question is, if we end up with a final 4 of Ben, Denise, Nick, and Michelle, who would you predict winning in that case?
Who took out Tony? That's the question.
I think if Michelle makes a move, then it's like.
Yeah, if Michelle takes out Tony, then I think
if she she takes someone
Denise
out.
has the Sandra move in her pocket still.
I feel like Michelle,
at the time, looked at as a huge move.
I think Michelle is in an odd case to win the more and more I think about it, bro.
Let's get more into her because she was number 2 on both sides. And to me, I want to explain my thoughts on her. I thought that was kind of crazy. While she may be a likable player, she really hasn't done that much. Like, has she won an immunity?
Yeah, but being on everyone's good side is amazing.
She really hasn't made any big moves. Yeah, she's a likable player.
But why does she have to make big moves though? Because if she made big moves, then she's gonna be on somebody's radar. You know what I mean?
But you can't get. It's a balance. You can't get to the end
on the good side
and then just say, "Yeah, I was just nice to everybody, and they dragged me here, and now I'm here. Vote for me."
Right, but it's not the end yet. You know what I mean? If she hasn't done anything and it's the end, then okay, obviously it's gonna be hard. But as of right now, let's say she makes a move within the next couple of weeks, then.
So I'm saying if she takes Tony out, she has to be considered the favorite.
So
I think whoever does take him out is going to be the favorite.
Tony out, okay. But if she finds an idol,
let's say she sits next to Jeremy and Sarah at the end, and then Sarah blindsides Tony.
But let's say she gets an idol and she saves someone.
Well, the key there is she doesn't end up in the end against Jeremy, Tony, or Sarah. She ends up against any of them. We don't deny that she loses. The question is if she can make it to the end without them, what happens?
Okay, I see your point, and I think in that scenario with those 4. Whoever takes out Tony will probably win.
I'm going to make a statement. You guys can either agree or disagree. It's either something you strongly agree with or something you strongly are going to disagree with. Michelle is the best social player left in this game.
Bro, oh my God. That's just
social player.
No way. No. She's been on the wrong side of the vote for like 3 or 4 times in a row.
Okay. You have to separate what social and strategic and the combination of the two are. Tony,
so what's your definition? Like, I want to be her friend?
Social players are the people who have the strongest personal bonds with every single person. I think that Michelle is the best person at working bonds with every person left in the game right now. Not strategically, but on a personal level. I think she's done the best to connect with everybody at this point.
I don't know. I just don't remember seeing – as of right now, I don't remember seeing her on television.
But at the same time, bro, think about it right now. Is Jeremy playing
a great social wait, I take it back. That fashion show. That was pretty dope.
I mean,
who made the clothing, by the way? Oh, was it Sarah? Was it Sarah?
Yeah. Not gonna lie, not rushing to the store to buy any of those items.
Speak for yourself.
Yeah, I guess. But we could review every single person left in the game. I don't think that Tony is the best with social bonds. Obviously, a massive.
That's true. I see what you're saying. I guess maybe that she does have probably the best connection with everybody. She's just playing no strategic.
Right.
To me, I think.
Offer someone who you think is a better social player in the game right now.
You're right. I can't name one.
You can't.
I can't name one. I can't.
I
think we should talk about the person with the worst social game left right now. Ben. Oh my God, dude. Ben is the worst. Ben is the worst.
Man, I like Ben. I like Ben at one point, I swear.
You like him?
And until he just has this resentment for Jeremy that just uncalled for. It is uncalled for. And it's just continue with uncalled for. It's uncalled for, and Jeremy has done nothing. Like, is Ben just like scared? Is he just scared? Like, oh, Jeremy's all this huge, powerful guy because that's what he keeps repeating. But
I mean, an odd theme in this season has been Ben's a child. Like him just giving up information to Boston Rob. Him like bullying people. It's like it's
true.
So odd at this point. You know what I mean? Like he came.
I think we could all agree Ben sucks. He's definitely the most hated player left in the game. The thing is, he has a shot of making some moves. He has an idol in his pocket.
No, he doesn't. I don't think he has that kind of.
He has an idol. He has an idol.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
I'm going to say there's upside. But here's why you want the best social player versus the best strategic player on your side. Ben has no social capital left in this game, I think.
Exactly. That's why I don't see him making a move.
And with Sarah, but he doesn't have any social capital with the jury. I think there is 0% chance that the jury is going to vote for Ben right now. No way.
Oh, 100%.
I agree with you. I think he could just screw someone else's game up because he has an idol, which is definitely going to cause some chaos in the future. People are definitely going to throw votes on him down the line. I mean, I know Tony knows about his idol, but who else does, Abe? Anybody?
You mean idols?
Does anybody know about Ben's idol besides Tony?
No, nobody knows. As far as we know, besides Tony. But
remember Ben tried
he can make
hiding it.
Yeah, that was pathetic, man. Tony
Tony acted so innocent. He's like, why do you do that? Why do you have to hide? You know, he was like pouting.
You saw that?
He's like, I can't trust you.
You saw that, Tony? You saw that? Yeah, let's go.
Bro, I think, by the way, both of the odds websites agree with all of us, and they have been on OddsSharks. They have him in 10th best odds to win. And on covers, they also have him 10th best to win. So they really don't think it's a likelihood of him winning.
And I think
Amber has a better shot of winning than him.
I don't think so. That is a stretch. Amber.
All right. The real question is, who has a better shot, Amber or Danny Boatwright?
Who?
Amber. I think Amber, bro. I mean, Amber makes it to the end. I think she's more likely to get votes. That's not a hard question.
That is true.
But I mean, it's just few times in Survivor history would I be okay with a jury not voting for someone based on like bitterness towards them for like personal stuff. This is one of the situations where I'd be okay with it.
I think, I'm all over Twitter after the episodes. Everyone is just hating on Ben. And for good reason, too.
And of course, that'll leave a weird feeling if somebody loses based on a bitter jury.
But I think if Ben loses based on, Ben is not like the guy who's like an obvious winner.
It would make sense. You know what I mean? Like, I've never been in more of a case where I'm like, a bitter jury makes sense, and it should happen if this case were to pursue, you know?
I just don't understand what game Ben is playing, because it seems like he's just going fully emotion.
Has he
playing based fully on emotion?
People who you vote off go to the jury?
Yeah, it makes no sense.
Does he forget that?
Also, he kept at the beginning saying, he kept hammering in the point throughout the whole season to the audience that he wants to be known as more of a guy who than just finding idols. He wants to prove that he has a social game, and he has not done that at all whatsoever.
I mean, going into the season, everybody said Ben is the worst winner on the season based on gameplay.
Agreed. I remember last season watching him, he slept near this like shipwreck or like box, I don't even know, some like wooden thing, and they planted an idol right next to him. They pushed him to win so badly. He was an ex-Marine, and he had this whole great story behind him, blah blah blah. Well,
I've never felt that Survivor was rigged except for in that moment. That is the only moment I felt like
that was beyond
something. And obviously there are moments where like somebody you really want to win is finding idols, and you're like, oh, this is totally plausible. And then, you're not necessarily looking for the flaws. This time, you're looking for the flaws. You could just see it. I mean,
Yep.
Maybe totally Survivor did want to introduce the fire-making challenge, but in the way they did at the end when he loses, I mean.
Yeah, it was, I agreed.
The guy can't win a challenge up to that point. So all of a sudden there's a fire-making challenge, so he could just, it left a sour taste. It left a massive sour taste in my mouth.
I agree.
Slower?
To the point where I wanted Chrissy to win that season. That's how bad it was.
Wow, that's pretty bad.
That's the point. I mean, Jack, do you feel the same way?
Oh, yeah. I remember watching the season together. We hated Ben then, hate him now. He's probably my least favorite player.
I'm just happy because I felt like I was alone on this Ben hate train for so long. And now I can say I'm the leader of it. I've been on it the longest.
That is very true.
It feels good to be the leader.
Good for you, Abe.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, the next person on the covers list and fourth on OddsSharks is Sarah. What do you guys think about Sarah? What do you think about her game so far and her chances to win?
I think she's playing a very strong game.
I got the top three, right?
You did get the top three, yeah. Sarah. Barry, what do you think about Sarah?
Subtle flex. I think Sarah's been playing a good game. Has she won challenges? I don't remember.
Sarah won a challenge. Has she?
Has she
I don't
ever?
think so.
Wait. Has she ever won?
Maybe like once.
Hang on.
I don't even think so. So my thoughts on her are last episode was odd. How she went in the confessional and said she was gonna keep her cool and then just cursed Tony out in front of everybody. Man, all this crap. with everyone listening to win game so far and her chances to win.
It seems reasonable. And one of us recently brought up, like, she hasn't won any challenges. Something to also point out is her strength has never been that she's never won an individual immunity challenge, which is kind of odd because we've seen her do puzzles and be athletic in the past. And that typically –
that is weird. That is very weird.
Like, that typically applies to at least winning one challenge, right?
Yeah, for sure.
She's also strong. Like, she's pretty jacked.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, she should be able to keep her arm up for more than 10 minutes. You know what I mean?
Right. So it's just something to point out. I don't think that this season will be decided on who has won the most individual immunity challenges. It's just crazy to see Tony on the run that he is.
By the way, can I add something?
Crazy. Yeah.
I thought Nick was so stupid. How the whole plan of him and his squad was to get Tony out, right? It was him versus Tony in the challenge, and what he took one token to put his arm down. Like, come on, man.
I'm sure there was more to that than we're seeing. Nick was probably on his way out. Like, he was already offering Tony deals.
So Nick is actually fourth on the covers odds. And on the other side, he's not even in like the top. He is on the other side, number 7. So they think he has a solid shot. So I agree. Nick is just a terrible strategic player. Terrible.
I actually don't necessarily feel that way. I don't think he's a good one. I just think he's average. Like, he's like, compared to other Survivor players, he's about an average strategic player. When you put him in an all-winner season, he seems to be outsmarted. But
True.
He's not,
I think what Barry said is totally.
He doesn't have a voice though.
On the ball.
He has no voice whatsoever.
This is true, but what I will say is.
And has he won a challenge, bro? This dude is worse than Michelle's not bad at it, but he's a goat that nobody cares about. Like, Kim was just using him because she thought maybe he had like a little crush on her, like he did on Parvati, and to get Tony out. But
it's
that's it. He's just a tool.
The question, I feel like the $2 million question right now.
Can't forget that.
And forget it's 2. Is what happens if there's a Final Four of Ben, Denise, Nick, Michelle?
I really just don't envision that happen. It's just not going to happen.
It's just
you're really going to tell me that
their side wins.
Jeremy,
someone's
Sarah,
going to be taking
and
out Tony
are going to all get voted out, and whoever comes back from the edge is going to get voted out.
You don't think
in a row? I don't see it.
You really don't think that's plausible? Because here's the deal.
It could definitely happen.
I mean, look at it this way. You're on the island. You're sitting with Tony Blachos, Jeremy Collins, and Sarah Lacina.
I like how you say their full names.
Of course, because that's what they're remembered as, you know? You don't think that it's crossing through those players' minds, I got to get rid of these people? Like, there's just no way they're allowed to get to the end. Like, if either Nick, Michelle, Ben, or Denise go home in this episode, if any of them go home in either of the parts, this game is drastically different by the finale, because all of a sudden either Tony, Michelle, Tony, Sarah, Jeremy, or whoever comes back from the edge, one of them will be in that fire-making challenge.
I think about it like this. Are Ben and Michelle aligned in any way?
No.
Michelle's with Jeremy, about this. It seems.
Yeah. All those 3, like, I would say contenders to win, Jeremy, Sarah, and Tony, are kind of aligned with different, as Tony calls them, hyenas in the game. So, like, I don't think the 4 hyenas, I'm including Ben in that, even though I guess some people could say he's strong. I just don't see it. I think they're all aligned with different power players, and because of that, one of the power players will make it to the end and probably win the game.
Well, let's look at it.
Can I add something?
Yeah.
So I think Ben is screwing himself over because I can definitely see Michelle go to Jeremy and be like, yo, we got to get Tony out, or yo, we got to take Sarah out. And I think that they would need Ben on their side. They would need his vote. But how is Jeremy and Ben how are they going to like find peace? So I feel like it's so past that with them, and they need that. And like, and for Jeremy and people who oppose Tony to take Ben out, that's just kind of, I don't know, that's just not good for them with the whole let's get Tony out.
We've seen Tony, Ben, Sarah close this whole game. They've been like a tight 3. So it almost seems as though the other 4 has to come together to vote out that 3, right?
I don't think Ben is like Tony's boy. I think Ben might start bitching next episode and be like, Tony, why were you talking to Jeremy for so long? Like, do you like him more than you like me? Like, I'm telling you, that's what's gonna happen. Like, this kid's a baby.
It's just so odd. Like what? Like I figured especially winners.
An emotional wreck.
The one thing I could think of is he doesn't want his alliance members seeing and talk to Jeremy, right?
Yeah.
Right.
But that was the problem he had with Rob, is Rob wouldn't allow people to have conversations.
Uh-huh.
So it's
That's
just
true.
so
That is
odd
true.
that this is slipping out of that. It's just
Very
so
hypocritical.
weird.
Very hypocritical. Extremely. Anyway, next on that list, fifth for covers was Denise. What do you guys think about Denise? Does she have any shot?
Denise. Yo, she gave Jeremy an attitude last episode.
Oh yeah, that
she had to
something
chill.
that tribal.
That
was bold. Her edit is one. Denise is interesting because she had perhaps one of the biggest moves of the season when she got Sandra out of the game, and to that point, she was heavily featured on the season. But since then, we haven't seen her at all. She's just not been there, except for this episode when she gave Jeremy the hand at tribal.
Kind of caught up with the fact that you realize the only way Ben, Michelle, Nick, or Denise are going to win this game is if they somehow end up in a Final 4/Final 3 with some mix of them together. Right?
Yeah, I like I said, don't see it happening.
So you have to look at that scenario when considering Denise. So what I'm going to say is with any of them, you have to mention that scenario because otherwise they're not winning that game.
True.
And
I think we all agree that the top three players with chances to win are Tony, or at least this is mine. I'm going to say mine. I think you two should say yours after. I think for me, chances to win the game is Tony 1, Jeremy 2, Sarah 3. What would you say, Abe?
I'll agree with that. I can agree with that.
Can you repeat that?
I said
Tony, Sarah, Jeremy.
Abe very agrees with me that I said Tony 1, Jeremy 2, Sarah 3. For me, personally.
I don't have Jeremy that high. I don't see Jeremy being allowed to make the Final 3. I got Tony 1. I think Michelle is 2 because the more and more I think about it, Michelle is going to win if she's in the Final 3 without one of the big dogs in the game still with her.
Yeah.
So
I see what you're saying.
I think that puts Michelle at 2 for me, Sarah 3. I think after that, it's just a crapshoot as to who comes back from the edge.
Just to repeat the odds one more time, Oddshark is Tony, favorite to win, followed by Michelle, Natalie, Sarah, and Sophie. Covers says Tony 1, Michelle 2, Sarah 3, Nick 4, and Denise 5.
Okay. It seems about right.
Yeah. Interesting.
I want to talk about Natalie and what happened. Not just Natalie, but what happened last episode with the Edge of Extinction. I thought it was kind of funny.
Yeah, I think that was actually a very lighthearted segment for the worst place on earth, the Edge of Extinction. We get Natalie just being like, yeah, I just want to beat everyone. She wins.
They're like, she's a monster. She's a beast.
Sophie being like,
they zoom in on her quads 10 times. And then they're hyping up Sophie. They're like, Sophie.
Yeah, it was definitely an interesting segment. Yeah.
Bro, and Ethan, Abe, listen. Ethan, they were like, oh, he's a long distance runner. He's like an athlete. Oh, no, Tyson, right?
Yeah.
And Tyson just listen, Natalie, she's a beast. Respect for her. She's honestly probably an athlete.
She's also
but
I think
Sophie, to let
runner.
Sophie beat you, especially Tyson had some peanut butter a couple weeks prior. This dude has way more energy than Sophie.
You
There's
eat
no
more
reason
in the game than just that peanut butter. Sophie is in the game longer and therefore doesn't have to starve for as longer.
Still.
She had the most resources in her at that moment. I think that
maybe Tyson just played it safe. There's no reason for him to finish second.
Right. There's no reason for him to go out sprinting. I think one thing to fear or to be happy about, if for some reason you are a Sophie Clark fan, so to all two of you who are fans, something that you could be happy about is when looking at the Edge of Extinction challenges, they typically, the past 3 have all had to do with dropping a ball in a hole in some manner of fashion. Sophie but Sophie is just amazing at guiding and those little hand movements required to like move and guide a ball down a track, which has been the past 3 Edge of Extinction challenges. Just something to like point out there. And it also felt like Sophie, like Sophie's reaction to Natalie winning was just like, I'm just gonna take my 2 tokens. Like, what does it matter? Like everybody had this like huge race to come in first, and I was like, 6th place is the only spot that matters, right?
Yep.
I think.
What about Rob? Rob and his little elbow.
You know, cracking your elbow is a serious effect to runners. Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Bro, like he was running on wet rocks, and it's not even wet rocks. Like next to the ocean, there's like algae. You know what I'm talking about?
Have you ever run next?
That makes the surface so
it's so slippery, dude. Like I was shocked Survivor allowed that. Like they should have. Like I was like, slip and crack their head. Like I was waiting for like a medevac based on the music.
Yo, Kim was.
Danny.
Yeah. Yo, she was getting lightheaded. She was sprinting like downhill. Also,
she looks like a bag of bones at this point, man. She is so skinny.
She stumbled down.
Food, man.
Yeah, I thought she was gonna get knocked out.
Yeah, she's probably like 80 pounds at this point.
It's just
it's
like,
insane.
Why would you do that, Survivor? Like, you put all your winners out there. Like, if you've ever run or walked in like areas like that, that is like really risky. That's just
no, but it's one thing if you have those shoes that Natalie has. That's like suction cups. Right. She came so prepared. I'm telling you, but she got out the first week, the first hit.
She got on. Yeah, I would have loved to see Natalie deeper into the season.
Right.
I want to see her social game. I haven't watched her in an episode.
Nah, I don't.
In a season.
I think most people want to see Tyson get another shot.
Tyson was in most of the time. Tyson had 2 shots.
What are you talking about? Chill out.
Who do you want to return from the edge right now?
Rob,
Natalie.
Obviously. Rob.
And Rob.
It's a.
Or Adam. If Adam could like.
Whoa! That is bold. That is like bold. That is. Oh, that
like if the challenge was like who loves
Ethan come back.
If the challenge is like who loves their dad the most, Adam's coming back. Adam's coming back.
I want to see Yule come back a little bit.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, but Yule, Boston, Rob, Ethan. I mean, definitely not Adam.
One of the more interesting things that I saw on the episode was Rob saying, you know, I wasn't going to let it affect me losing this game, but it hurts. I want to win. Like, it was like, I don't remember the quote, but seeing that, I was like, is Rob the winner? Because that's like the most winner quote. I think you could put out.
I think if anything you want to speculate on, the preview did say double the Tony. So Tony will probably not be voted out in the first.
That is some key speculation.
Abe, explain.
Well, there was a preview, and it was like, get pumped for double the drama, double the blindsides, and double the Tony. And I was like,
what does that mean?
Because there's 2 episodes this week. It's a 2-hour episode.
It's a 2-hour episode.
Oh, double the Tony.
Double.
By them saying that, they're pretty much saying there's going to be 2 episodes with Tony in both.
I mean, Tony is probably Survivor's second most marketable player, right?
Oh, he's amazing.
Behind Rob.
He's also not like
Parvati might be up
He's
there.
just a beast.
Rob's the most marketable. I mean, Jack, who are your most marketable survivors?
No, I think you're right. Tony's got to be up there. Boston Rob, Parvati, Sandra for sure, the Queen. You know,
like there's like a progression, you know, of like marketable players. Like I think
Tyson's probably pretty marketable.
Up until season 7, like 1 through 7, it was probably like Colby.
You know who's the least marketable player? Nick. Danny, like who is gonna like turn the TV on to see them play?
I mean, Amber Mariano got a lot of hype for just being the wife of Boston Rob, you know?
Yeah, because of Boston Rob.
That shows how marketable he is.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Survivor comparisons to Super Bowl champions.
Let's go. I've been waiting for this all episode. Let's hear it.
Let's talk about who, you know, is the GOAT of Survivor. Maybe, you know, this will have an influence. First off, we got the 2019 Chiefs comparison, Tony Vlachos.
Wow. I really like that comparison. Oh, my God. Let's hear your reasoning behind it.
Explosive team, explosive player. So Tony is widely regarded as the wackiest Survivor player, as in, at every other moment, he's going to score a touchdown, kind of like the
You know,
team.
he's fun at the same time. Mahomes is fun. Kelsey is,
Right.
goofy guy. Nice and chill.
I want to add in also that his first season, Kagayan, now that I'm thinking about it, is kind of like last year's Super Bowl. The San Francisco 49ers had the game. They had to throw to Emmanuel Sanders deep for the game, just like Wu when he won the immunity could have won the game by pick and cast. And
This is true.
just like Garoppolo overthrows the ball, Wu picks Tony, loses the game. Great comparison.
So now we're going to talk about the last Super Bowl won by the Brady Belichick dynasty. We got Sophie Clark as the 2018 Patriots. I think one of the smartest teams mesh well together. They also have a similar comparison in likability, in my opinion. Not
Patriots.
much people wanted
No one
the
likes the
Patriots
Patriots.
to win.
I think that's his point. I think that's his point.
I got you.
Clark, similar.
I like it.
We're gonna talk about the OG of Survivor, season 1 winner, Richard Hatch.
Hey.
Obviously, you have to go with Super Bowl I, Vince Lombardi, revolutionized.
Yeah, classic
team. Obviously, you look back on it, they're not like the smartest team now, but like you don't know how they would do in the modern environment.
I would love to see the Packers from 1960, whatever, play like the Kansas City Chiefs. That would just be awesome.
Right. It's and with like modern leagues each like compared. We got Kim, 1972 Dolphins. Perfect season,
really?
Perfect game.
Okay, I see it.
Perfect game.
So is that game considered the greatest game played by any player ever?
Yo, in loving memory of that guy. What's his name? The Dolphins.
Oh, in loving memory of Don Shula. Yeah, he did pass away today.
He passed away today?
Yeah, the Dolphins coach from that team.
R.I.P.
Yeah. Wait, so is she that season considered the greatest season of all time by one player?
Single season, I would say yes. I think.
Wow.
Kim,
I did not watch that season.
Need to go. She just needed to get there.
Yeah.
That's.
I like it.
Comparison. Rob, I got the 85 Bears.
Interesting. Why?
Because in a similar way, they're both just dominant teams. Like when you think about one of the most physically imposing teams, it's the 85 Bears, the most known defense of all time. I think Rob is the most known player of all time.
Both are notorious. That is true.
And then but there are also flaws to the team. They lost to the Dolphins. The Dolphins almost played them in that Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Except they lost to the Patriots the round before, and the Bears were built much better to beat the Patriots rather than the Dolphins. Rob also got some breaks along the way, winning some immunities. There were flaws, but he did play a dominant game and still win in the end.
I see it.
Then we got Danny Boatwright. He is Trent Dilfer.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
The most forgettable quarterback to ever win a Super Bowl.
Oh my God.
Not the highlight of their season. She's known for hiding stuff from producers so they can't use it against her.
Jesus, that is amazing. Oh my God.
One of the most, lackluster, personality-wise winners of all time.
Couldn't agree with you more.
Then we got Sandra Diaz-Twine.
I want to hear this
one. Wins kind of, stumbled ass backwards into her win. People making some wrong decisions, bitter juries. We talked about how we may not want the season to end that way. It did for her seasons. So for her, I got the 2007, 2011 Giants.
Wow. So you really going to say to everybody that Sandra stumbled ass backwards into 2 wins?
Yes. She is only considered the greatest of all time. If you even want to consider her that. She's not even that. But if you want to consider her that, she's only considered that because she won twice. Kind of like Eli Manning is almost only considered a Hall of Famer because he won twice.
Wow. Now that I'm thinking about it, it's a pretty good comparison.
Not really.
Would you put Sandra in your top 3 players even?
Of all time?
Yes.
I don't think she's even top 5.
What?
Yeah.
Wow. That'll have to be a discussion for a different day. Oh my God.
I'm willing to say this right now, top 5 players of all time. Parvati 1, I think Kim 2, Rob 3, Tony 4, Sarah 5.
Lucina?
Lucina.
Over Sandra?
Over Sandra.
Man. You're about to hear it in the comments.
I don't
wow.
care about comment what you want. We want to hear that feedback.
Wow.
Think about it for a second. Did Sandra make any moves that were like impressive? Like,
wow. That's bold. Right
think about for a second. Who were considered the best strategic players of her season? Johnny Fairplay, Russell Hantz, not her. And who was the second best strategic player in Heroes vs. Villains? Parvati. Think about that for a second and understand that Sandra, she just stumbled ass backwards into winning. Like, she was just taken. Like, the heroes were asked, given a second chance, would you vote for Sandra to win this game? No. Parvati. You win. You deserve to win. Giants deserve to win those Super Bowls.
I see where you're coming from. I like the comparison. I like the comparison.
And I was also asked who would be the 2011 Patriots or 2007 Patriots, the perfect team. The perfect team falling just short at the end is not a part of that season. That's a completely different story clip, which I had to give to Rob Sesternino. That's the one non-Super Bowl team I'm going to compare. Rob played a dominant game in the Amazon, and then just at the last second just couldn't get to that final two. If he's playing
hate to see it,
he wins. Only in like the first 12 seasons does he lose, including like 18 and 28. Any like other season, he makes it to the end. Final three, and he just came up short. Patriots probably winning in the modern time, with offenses being more highlighted rather than defense.
Yeah, I agree with you. He played such a great season, and it is such a shame he didn't come away with the victory.
Such a shame we couldn't get Rob Sesternino on this season.
Yep.
And that's where I'm going to wrap it up.
All right.
Abe, Barry, it's been a pleasure.
Been a pleasure. If any of you have watched up to this point, comment below. We have all day to answer these questions.
We will answer all comments. Comments alike is much, much appreciated.
Any likes and comments, and we will do
even a roast.
Just roast
me.
Just roast me.
Anything, man.
Anything. And we'll have some fun next week with this again. So
if we get one like on this video, we will be back next week. And if Abe's mom likes it, that counts. But
that counts.
That counts. Yeah.
So for Barry and
any likes, any comments will mean the world to us. Thank you for
Barry and Jack. This is Abe Probst signing off. Have a good night.
See ya.
All right.
See ya.
Peace.
Okay.
Hey.